What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to TLTG Reviews. If you're stopping by for the first time, do me a real quick favor. See that red subscribe button down below? Go ahead and push that. Show you support for the channel. For those of you just come and check me out tonight to see what I have for you, welcome back, my friends. I appreciate you stopping by. So, last night's video had a special unboxing bought from Forever Luxe. It was a fragrance we're discussing tonight, and that fragrance just happens to be Bentley for Men Azure, or Azure as some people say, but it's Azure. So gotta say it correctly. I'm a car guy. That's just what it is. Bentley Azure. So, well, I was kind of surprised with this one. Let's go ahead and get this out the way right now. There's a lot of comparisons of people saying it does and does not smell like Azure Chrome United, and I'm going to go out and say, just because they share the T note does not mean they're the same fragrance. They are not. This is much more powdery, a lot more mellow. It's much more ozonic and aquatic and a little spicy. Just because they share a couple of notes does not mean they're the same fragrance. So for those of you on Fragrantica arguing with each other, the people that are saying they don't smell the same are correct in my opinion. So now that we got that out the way, just something I wanted to touch base about. I got Chrome United right here. So this is actually kind of a love-hate fragrance for me. So I was really excited to get my hands on it for quite a while. It's been on my wish list for at least 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. I finally pulled the trigger. It's a good fragrance. It's not a mind-blowing must-buy fragrance, but we'll get into all that in a second. So let's go ahead and get to the breakdown. Let's get all the important stuff out the way, and then we'll break it down on what I get from it. So this was released in 2014. It's classified as a citrus aromatic. Top notes are pineapple, violet leaf, tangerine, and bergamot. Mid notes are paprika, lavender, tea, and clary sage. And on the base, you're going to get cashmere wood, tonka bean, and orchinox. So what do I get from it? This is where it gets interesting. So you definitely get the pineapple and the violet leaf on it. Pretty heavy up front. The tea note you get throughout. Tea note is the most prominent note that's in this fragrance. No doubt about it. As it starts to dry down, you do have a little bit of a fresh spiciness from the clary sage and the paprika in the opening, and the clary sage kind of hangs out throughout, kind of mellowing in the background. So really sets it apart from Chrome United. This is a fresh, spicy fragrance. It's very ozonic. It wafts in the air. It's got decent performance. The longevity's pretty good. Projection's pretty solid as well. We'll get into all these ratings here in just a second. But what I get from this is it's not as borderline niche quality as the Bentley for Men fragrances typically are. This is a little bit more synthetic. Not as synthetic as something like Azure Chrome United, but it's a little more synthetic than most are going to like for their taste. But it is a good fragrance, guys. It really is. I had 2 people ask me what I was wearing. Both of them just so happened to tell me how fresh it smelled. I consider that a compliment. That's positive to me because it wasn't a negative remark. So I count it as 2 compliments. I did wear it today. I think it smells pretty good. The dry down really keeps it wafting. It's still on my arms. I did refresh later in the day, but much later in the day. So first and foremost, on the presentation on this, now that we got all the notes and what I get from it out the way, the presentation on this is your standard Bentley for Men bottle. Only this one has that gradient clear to blue design. Has the volume knob style. It says Bentley Fragrances right on the top. Atomizer is fantastic. It's a beautiful smell off the top. It really is. On presentation on this one, I mean, I already tossed the box. It's right here in the garbage for those of you that actually care. It's your standard Bentley box. But I mean, I don't keep them. It just happens that my little office garbage is just freshly taken out yesterday, so I got room in the garbage. But anyways, on presentation on this one, this warrants a pretty good rating. This is going to be an 8 out of 10 for presentation because this is a beautiful bottle. It looks like a bottle of liquor flask kind of style. It's a beautiful bottle. It really is. Now on the scent, that's where the rating gets a little tricky. I know I keep saying it's kind of beautiful off the top, but the more you smell it throughout the day, the more it just seems a bit more generic than you had hoped for, or that I had hoped for at least. It's not a bad smell by any means. It didn't blow me away. For most of you, it's probably not going to blow you away either. It starts off, like I said, very citrusy, very aromatic, as the Accord type states. It's a little fresh, spicy, but it's a mellow smell. It's different enough from your standard freshie, but not so different that it's something that you got to just rush out to buy. But on scent, I'm looking at a 6.5 out of 10. Not a bad rating, slightly above average, but like I said, this isn't going to blow you away. It didn't blow me away like I was hoping it would. Now, longevity, this is what kind of picks the ball back up and starts running with it again. It fumbles its scent a little bit, but the longevity helps it out. So I actually did get 7 hours until it really became a skin scent. It was mildly wafting a little bit. I had a subscriber ask me around that 7 hour mark on Facebook, how was the performance? It just so happened I just stopped clocking it. 7 hours, pretty solid, 7 hours on it. So on longevity, I'm looking at a 7.5 out of 10. If you spray it a little bit heavier, you can probably get in that 8 hour range. It was a skin scent at that point. Some of you may count the skin scent time period. I don't. Once my nose is touching my arm to smell it, that's all she wrote. I stopped clocking it, and then I refresh. So on the projection, that's another one it's a moderate rating. It's above average for sure. The first 2 hours, it was really getting out kind of a little beyond arm's length. It's very, very ozonic. I do give it that. This is one of the most ozonic fragrances that I have in my collection. It really gets out in that air and runs wild. It's not screaming off your skin, but if there's even the slightest of breeze or a fan in the area, it's really pushing it out there in weak little bursts to really grab somebody and pull them into you, to where, not necessarily if they think it's an amazing scent, but they smell it and they want to, I've had 2 people today, like I said, want to know, what is that you're wearing? What's that scent? So it was a bit of a conversation starter, so I give it that. So in projection, I'm looking at a 7 out of 10. Not a bad rating, not a phenomenal rating. So what that puts us at overall, this is a 7 out of 10 fragrance. It's a solid rating. This is a solid fragrance. Would I say you have to rush out and buy it? No. Would I say for the price point you can get it at, you need to rush out and buy it? Yes. Sub $25 range with the coupon on FragranceNet. I paid $27.12, I believe, from Forever Luxe on eBay without having to pay taxes and getting free shipping. That's why I went that route, because this was the only thing I wanted to buy. So had I got it from FragranceNet, I was looking at $6 or $7 shipping plus tax. So I was going to wind up paying several dollars more than I paid from Forever Luxe. But you can find this everywhere, online, sub $30 range. And like Max said on his review, or one of his top 10 lists recently, where he had this in the list, he's very right. Eventually, we won't be able to find this so cheap. It does warrant a purchase. If you want something that's a little slight difference from your typical freshie, your citrus aromatics that you normally wear, that T-note kind of separates. It's very ozonic and aquatic still. Has that citrusy quality to it, slight fresh spicy, but it's very ozonic. You don't have to go heavy with it for it to get out in the air and draw people in, but I mean, hey, I'm a heavy sprayer. It's my thing. It's what I like to do. You can spray your ass off with this. You're not going to bother anybody. You might make yourself get a nosmic. That's a strong possibility. But this is a great fragrance, guys. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's the greatest freshie in the world, but like I said, it's for what you're paying. If you've been debating on getting it, maybe it's time you go ahead and knock this one off your list, because it is a very good fragrance, guys. So that's all I really wanted to cover. Quick review on Bentley from Azure. It is a good fragrance. Bentley does a great job with all their fragrances. I do have an order I'm looking to put in here in the next couple of days with FragranceNet. That's going to have at least one Bentley fragrance for sure, possibly 2. I'm debating on Black Edition, and I've really been wanting to get Infinite Intense for a while. That's going to be the definite of the order. There's a few other things that I'm looking at getting as well, so debating on holding off on Black Edition since it's relatively new. I know it'll be around for a while. But as always, guys, do me a quick favor and go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback. I constantly check YouTube throughout the day, check the TLTG Reviews Facebook page, which if you haven't already, go ahead and like and follow that. Help me out. That's the easiest way to get updates, scent of the day, when I'm pushing the videos out that lets you know, unless you check the little bell right down here on the side, You'll get alerts on when my videos are live, like this video, for example. But yet, this is another one, guys, that I'm very confident that if you go ahead and knock this one out your list, because I know a lot of you are like me and you've been wanting it, you give it a couple sprays, you will thank me later. Have a great night, guys.